Hello students, we will continue with the chapter How do organisms reproduce, and this is the fourth part under the series. We have done reproduction in plants. Today we will discuss about the reproduction in human beings. Reproduction in human beings. All of us know that in human beings the mode of reproduction is sexual. Human reproduce by sexual means of reproduction. And what is reproduction? How reproduction takes place in human being? In brief, we will discuss. So, first of all, two parents are needed. One parent, a male parent, and other a female parent. This is the sign for male. This is the sign for female. So, intercourse takes place, and when the cross is done, then there is the fusion of gametes. These male parent, it produce sperms which are male gametes. The structure is somewhat like this, and the female parent, it produce ova or egg, ovum or egg, and it is quite big in size than the sperm. Why it is bigger in size? Because the embryo is will be developed inside the egg, and it needs the nourishment or food for its development in initial stages only. So when sperm and ovum, they fuse with each other, a cell known as zygote is formed. This zygote is diploid in nature. All of you now know that sperms, they are haploid in nature. Ovum, they are haploid in nature. This is denoted by single N, or we can say they have half the number of chromosomes. In human cell, 46 chromosomes are present, but these in germ cells, these are known as germ cells or gametes, only half the number, that is 23 chromosomes here and 23 chromosomes here are present. When they fuse with each other, again a diploid cell known as zygote is formed, and it again has 23 pairs of chromosomes or 46 chromosomes. And this zygote is the result of fertilization. Fertilization is fusion of male and female gamete. And once this zygote is formed, it starts multiplying by simple cell division or mitotic cell division, and a group of cells, it is formed, and now it is known as blastocyte. It comes to the uterus, implants itself in the uterine wall, and the fetus starts developing. After 9 months, a lady or a female parent give rise to birth of the child. So this is how sexual reproduction takes place in human beings in brief. And we will study the male reproductive organs and female reproductive organ after this. But today, as we know, this is in brief the sexual process of sexual reproduction in human beings. But how the sexual maturity takes place in human being, how the reproductive parts are formed, and what is the process, how the human beings, male and female, they are capable of producing sperms and ovum. And for this, we have to study two terms. Those are known as adolescence, and the second is puberty. These are important periods in the life of human beings, known as adolescence and puberty. They are quite interrelated with each other, and even they are overlapping. The period is overlapping with each other. Now we know change is the law of nature. Even living organisms, living things, they keep on changing. And as the child, if there is a birth of a child, then it starts growing from the very first day and keep on, the growth takes place till the death. So the growth of the child starts from the very first day. The early 2 years, they are known as the infancy period or the infant. All of you know infant, infancy period, the first 2 years. After it, the mid or the early childhood. Early childhood is there for few years. Then after this, then late childhood is there for few years. Once the person or a child comes to the age of 9, 10 or 11, a special period known as adolescence, it starts. So the adolescence, both in boys and girls, it starts around the age of 9, 10 or 11. In girls, it is slightly prior to the age in boys, about 6 months or 1 year. So around this period, and it differs from person to person. In different boys, different girls, the age for starting of adolescence is different. We can also call this age as teenage. Before 13, it is pre-teen. From 13 to 19, it is teenage. So the adolescence or teenage is one and the same thing. It means this age, it prolongs up to the age of 19 or 20. Now what is this age? This is the age of transition from childhood to adulthood. Now a child slowly, gradually, it is going towards the adulthood. After 10, 11, 12 years of age, the child, it is changing physically, emotionally, psychologically and even socially. So these changes, these gradual changes forms a child to an adult. So this is adolescence. Then what is puberty? Puberty is overlapping with adolescence. In the initial stages of adolescence, onset of puberty is there. Now what is puberty? Puberty is changes in the boy or girl for sexual maturation. So a boy or a girl, it matured sexually or reproductively for doing the reproductive act. So that is, it is now it can produce sperms and egg on both the sides once the sexual maturation is completed. So puberty is the changes involved in boys and girls for sexual maturation or reproductive maturation. How this reproductive or sexual maturation will be there? When they can capable to produce sperms and eggs. So this is puberty. The early years of adolescence, they are related with puberty. Adolescence, this period has about 9-10 years, but puberty, it can be completed in 2-3 years or even 4-5 years, depends upon the person to person. So up to 15 or 16 in boys and girls, puberty is completed, and now the boy can produce sperm and girls can produce ovum in the ovary. So this is how changes takes place. Now we will see what are the changes takes place in puberty. So we can write few changes, very simple, all of us know. So in puberty, the changes are of 2 or 3 types, suppose. First, they are physical changes. Then there may be hormonal changes, and there are emotional, mental, or we can say behavioral changes in the behavior of the person. So under puberty we have 3 types of changes, and these changes are different in boys and girls. So physical changes we will write or discuss very simple. We are seeing them in our day-to-day life. So what are the physical changes during puberty or early adolescence? First of all, in early adolescence we see spurt of height. The height increases few inches or few centimeters in boys and girls both. So spurt of height is there, then body enlarges, weight gain is there, muscular tissue is formed, and a child, it goes on towards the adulthood. So the physical changes we can write here in boys. First is spurt of height, as I have just discussed. Here also the same spurt of height is there. In boys then facial hairs develop. All of you know, that is around 12, 13 or 14, mustaches and beard, they start developing in boys, and no facial hairs in girls. Then what happens? Hairs in armpits and in pubic region, in between the thighs, they start developing. Here in girls also they are start developing hairs in armpits and pubic region. What is the next? Acne. They can be found on face or on back, and these acne, they are due to the overactivity of sebaceous glands. These glands in puberty, they overactivate and produce some oil, and due to this oily nature the skin become oily, and bacteria, they infect the skin pores, and acne develop in both boys and girls. What are the other changes? In boys, shoulders and chest, it enlarges. Broad shoulder, broad chest, it starts developing. In girls, breast, they start developing, they start enlarging. What the other we can think about? So these are important. One is voice. In boys, starts cracking. That is, they have now a deep voice or a hoarse voice. So voice cracking, and this is not done in girls. And one more, in boys, all of you must have seen the larynx, all the voice box. All of you know voice box? This is the voice box here in the throat region. It enlarges, and this is known as Adam's apple. Adam's apple. In young boys, we can see a small protuberance here in the neck region. So this is the larynx of the voice box. It enlarges in boys. In girls, nothing like this happens. What more we can think about? In girls, the eighth one, not in boys, only in girls, menstruation, it starts. Ninth is in girls, not in boys, hip region, it enlarges. It starts enlarging, yes. Hip region, it starts enlarging in girls. Thighs and hip region starts enlarging, not in boys. So these are few physical changes which takes place in puberty in boys and girls. Now about the hormonal changes, all of us know that in boys and girls. What about the state of hormones in boys and girls? We know two sex hormones are there which are prominent in boys and girls. In boys, the male hormone is known as testosterone, and in female it is estrogen. It is estrogen in girls and testosterone in boys. So these hormones, their secretion is increased. These secrete under the influence of the gland in the brain known as pituitary gland. So under the influence of pituitary gland from the brain, the secretion of these hormones, it increases. And what happens when these secretion is increases? In boys, this testosterone helps in formation of sperms in testes. And secondly, it helps in development of secondary sexual characters. What are secondary sexual characters? Enlargement of penis, then testicles, then some what is that? Scrotum. So secondary sexual characters, these reproductive parts, they enlarges, and the secondary sexual characters are also this beard and mustaches and hairs all over the body. So this testosterone helps in the formation of male gamete, that is sperms, and development of second sexual character is also there. Now this estrogen, this is the female hormone, it helps in again releasing of ovum. So ovum get matured in ovary under the influence of this female hormone, and again it also help in development of secondary sexual characters. And these secondary sexual characters are enlargement of breast or mammary gland, enlargement of hip, and other characters we discussed here under physical changes. So these are hormonal changes, and they start at puberty, and gradually the secretion, this is the gradual increment of secretion, and girls also under this hormonal change, they start menstruating. So this is about the hormonal change. Now some behavioral changes we will discuss. All of you, all the students in the 10th class, they are now adolescents. They are under this age, and all of you must have noticed many behavioral changes in yourselves. The first is, all the persons under this age, they are conscious about their looks. They see the mirror again and again, few times a day, and they are conscious about their looks. They want to be noticed. They want to be accepted. They want that other people should understand them, should accept them. They want to prove something. They have mood swings. Sometimes they are happy without any reason. Sometimes they are sad without any reason. So mood swings are there. Then what else? They want to be lonely or privacy. They need privacy. So these are something, and some more. They behave socially well, like adult. So now behavioral changes are mental, emotional as well as social. They are going towards adulthood. So these are some behavioral changes an adolescent person has. So these are very common. We are noticing them in our day-to-day life. So this is how the changes takes place in puberty, physical, hormonal and behavioral, and till the age of 15 or 16, both boys and girls, they are matured sexually and they are having the puberty is ceases, and this adolescence, it is prolonged up to 19, 20 or 18 years of ages until a child completely transformed into an adult. So this is how the adolescence and puberty we have discussed. But one thing we should know here, that at 15 or 16 years of age, though the gametes can be formed, boys and girls, they are sexually matured, but mentally they are not mature enough to take the responsibility of marriage or even having children. They are quite underage to take all these responsibility. Even the social responsibility or moral or mental or emotional, they are not fit for this. So till the age of 20 or after 20, they can be responsible for all these kind of work. So this is all for today. In the next lecture, we will learn about reproductive systems in male and female organisms, their structure, and how this sexual reproduction takes place in human being. This is all for today. Thank you.